And we are live again. Hello, hello, Nuno. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
Very good. I'm Fernanda Nis, and I have here with me again Nuno. We are both co founders and teachers at DeRose Meditation, and we have our weekly podcast to talk a little bit about this ancestral way to train, about this incredible knowledge that we have been studying and practicing and teaching together for more than 50 years.
Yeah,
Wow, that was
correct.
good. And we are in the middle of a challenge that is the flexibility challenge. Unlock your
Less
body.
tension, more movement.
Yay. And I think it's unlock your movement. You're right.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to talk about it, but I would like to start, Nuno, asking you a tricky question. So if you need
Mm.
some moments to think about it's okay. But my question is, how is flexibility related to freedom?
Ah. If you think the opposite, it makes sense.
Good. I
So
like your
if you,
approach.
yeah, if you know uh, a person that by personality has that kind of closeness as the opposite of openness, uh, usually it's a stiff person, body wise. So I
Mhm.
think that flexibility and freedom is very, very related. They are cousins. Train one, will develop both. If you don't, the same happen on the other direction. So be flexible.
Yeah, good, good. I like that. I really liked it. You know that I was talking to Larissa, and for those who don't know her, she's our friend and co-worker here. And before this podcast, I do one with her, but in Portuguese. And Larissa, she's a researcher, and she's a very curious person about life. So she went to study. She started to study about the flexibility and about everything related to our ancestral way to train. And we have one of the rules of execution. We have a lot of rules of execution. And one of them is the balance rule of execution. That is quite obvious. And it's so makes so much sense. And it's so absorbed by us that we never I never question like what does science talk about it. But
Hmm.
Larissa she has a very curious personality. So, and since she is a scientist, she went to look into the scientific base for this rule of execution. And you know what she found out?
She
Nothing.
didn't.
So, first of all, if you find something related to that, send to us. We're going to love it. But second, it's very interesting because it's another paradigm. It's a completely different way of doing things because we are not a gym, we are not exercise. We have different ways to do everything. And in this knowledge, it's so old, it's so ancient that comes from a period where we had so much time and we could observe the cycles of nature and the rules of nature. So, observing the other animals, they would see that there is this equalization when you do some movements. In
Hmm.
order, it's almost like a body knowledge. It's not a mental knowledge, it's a body logic. So, for example, if I see my dog and she's sleeping and her spine, it's like this. When she wakes
Mhm.
up, she doesn't just wake up and go away. She wakes up, then she stretches the other way so her spine is equalizing. Then
Mhm.
she does her movement, relax, and then she goes.
Yeah,
It makes so much sense. And the same happens with us when we are sleeping. Then we wake up. The first thing is to stretch, stretch. Then you go. It does make sense, right?
it does. It does. It's very natural, right?
Exactly, exactly. So I think this is why we use this, even though there's nowhere we can find a scientific base for that.
Yes.
Right?
I was right, right. I was listening in Portuguese, both of you, and I remember she was talking about like finding articles related to this equalization, making
Mm-hmm.
movements on both directions,
Mm-hmm.
to build up a symmetry, even though our body is not symmetrical, but it has a tendency to be. If we develop that symmetry, we are carrying our body. If
Mm-hmm.
we don't, if we do asymmetrical stuff, we are uh, doing the opposite, right? And we do a lot of tests like I'm hand righted, my right hand is the strongest, your left hand is the strongest. And so we live in the house that we observe this asymmetry between people. We always have a stronger side, but still we try to make things right. That means equalizing, do the same to the other side. And also, Larissa, she mentioned that the lateral flexions and the torsions, you can still find it in the world of physical education, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the forward flexion, backward flexion, which is the highlight because it's related to our challenge, is where there's a gap. But I have to say, Larissa, I know that she's listening. I have found many years ago, not a scientific study, but it was a map of the spine. And for each section of vertebrae, mentioning the range of movement that that block is allowing you to do. And it has torsions, lateral flexions, forward flexions, backward flexions. Have the four movements that we do for both sides, right? So, in terms of anatomy, the knowledge understands that the spine, without forcing, it is built to make those movements naturally. Side bends, torsions, forward and backward flexions. So it is in the knowledge of what the spine is able to do. Of course, the need of an equalization or a counter execution, it's not there. But at least there's space in there to
Mm-hmm.
double check that we are not forcing something unnatural when you, for example, do a backward flexion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because in the challenge, the next video, we will add that information to our challenge. We are adding 15 seconds a day, but now we're going to add other tools besides the 15 seconds a day. And it will be at the end of your permanence, when returning, instead of just returning, you're also going to do a backward flexion because your spine was arched forward for a while. So it needs for a smaller amount of time to go back and to do the opposite. And then things feel balanced. Your body going to feel, oh, you're going to finish your backward flexion. Oh, this makes sense. Okay. That's, oh, got it.
how our friend Guy that used to live in Hawaii would say, now yes.
Now,
The free
yes.
translation of the a Portuguese expression. No, no,
Yes.
but you are also a musician, and I know that depending on the instrument you play, you can be very unbalanced. Have you noticed that on yourself, or have you seen some of your colleagues or friends with some consequences of this lack of equalization?
Yes, my shoulder head.
So we're talking about someone that does a lot of practices as well.
Yes, yes. So, for example, for musicians, most of the instruments are uh, non-symmetrical. So, guitars, drums, bass, violins, cellos, flutes, you name it. Okay, and even the ones that look like more symmetrical, that are pointing forward as a trumpet, you're gonna actually put one hand in front of the other. So that means
A
you
tuba?
are, yeah, you are asymmetrical. Your shoulders and arms will be in a non-symmetrical position, and not
Mhm.
never a very close symmetrical position. Uh, I know that they, for example, you have drummers, ambidextrous, that have a symmetrical drum kit to avoid
Hmm.
lesions. And
Mhm.
so they can do everything to both sides, and everything, like the instrument, is symmetrical.
And we
But they are
can
not from this world. They are the
And we
exception.
can see this kind of unbalanced body, not just in hobbies, but also in sports and in professions, right? We always talk
Hmm.
about the dentists that they are always doing this movement to one side. So, if you are an experienced or medium experienced teacher and someone arrives and says, I'm a dentist, you know that the back of this person is not going to be in the best shape, right?
Hmm.
Or,
Yes, yes.
for example, a tennis player that always uses one
The strong
side
arm.
play, like the difference of the arms, the muscles, it's so different, and it brings some consequences. This is just to explain that even though we didn't find any scientific material about this equalization, it's so necessary in our daily lives, not just those who practice this knowledge, but everyone.
Hmm.
If you're living, probably you are doing some things unbalanced.
Yeah, yeah.
But coming back to our challenge, I had a really good experience yesterday in your class, because during the class you did the forward flexion, the padahastasana. That's the name in Sanskrit of
Hmm.
this exercise. That's the challenge this 2 weeks. And you did a very good stretch before. I really like the way that you taught that technique, and how you brought everyone to reach their better execution yesterday. Even the permanence was bigger than usually you do
Hmm.
in your classes, especially in the gym. But it was a very good experience for me, because I was there. So I did a good stretch, then forward flexion, but way stretched, then went down, and then you started to give instructions to relax some parts of your body. And you know that it was a very good, I'm not saying that I did a very good execution, but it felt so good doing that execution, because I could feel that. And I'm an experienced practitioner, but I could feel something that you always say in your practices, that relaxation brings strength. And if you want to achieve a better extension, you don't need to push, you need to relax.
Yeah.
And it was so incredible, because I could reach a level of relaxation in some areas, and I could feel my body responding to that and going further than what I was used to do.
Yeah, yeah. It is an exercise of localizing your attention
Mhm,
while doing a position, which was a
mhm,
forward flexion, Padahastasana. Um, but we know that our body is complex, our mind is complex.
mhm, mhm.
So we need to have the time to grab the attention of the body to understand what is happening to the individual. Okay, because my body is different from yours, so it means the way that I feel that position is different from yours. So there's no universal execution. You need to follow kind of a blueprint, like a guideline, and then when you start the permanence is when you individualize your practice. And then if you're giving the precise instructions, you can find that part of your body that is holding you to go further.
Exactly, exactly.
And then what do I do there? I just go there with my awareness, and then I try to relax. I do my best to relax. I can use exhalations. I can use mentalization. I have so many tools that allow me to unlock that flexibility that is, it is there. I just need to find a way to relax. And I think also at the end, when, okay, then I notice that I'm getting further, that means closer to the floor. No, it's closer to your legs. Like subtle details can really make a difference when we are doing asana. And even though I like to be precise in the instructions, but I try to give to my students tools to find what is happening to each person. Okay, like it's easy, close your eyes. It's hard, keep your eyes open. Do this, do that, giving options to make it more balanced for the group. But then at the same time, it's awesome because then suddenly, like you have more thousands of hours of practice than I have, but still, yesterday you were able to
Mhm.
experience something interesting, something unique. Okay, probably it was not something new, but it was unique enough for you to mention today. And
Yeah.
I think the practice has a lot to do with that, and not just with anatomy. You need to
Mhm,
feel this
mhm.
specific muscle. No, go there, do it, feel it, and then use tools to manage it. Okay.
Very good, very good. So for the next video that we're going to share in the next few days, we are going to explore this equalization and balance aspect of the execution of this technique and of every technique. So this is why I always say, if you want to try, if you want to start, search for a really good teacher, because this kind of knowledge, uh, it's going to help you to go way further, and with safety and experience, it's going to be improved a lot,
Mhm. Yes,
right?
yes. I think we can add a small detail because
Mhm.
of the
Of course.
word, that word equalization. It's kind of tricky. I even talk with native English speakers about
Mhm.
that expression, and there's not a consensus. So, just to be clear what we are talking about, this connection to equalize is to do the same to the opposite side. Some people will use the word compensate, but it can be have a double meaning, so we tend
Mhm.
not to use it. Counter execution or counter position is also an option. When we were in India last year, in one of the classes at the Yoga Institute, they used that expression of counter
Mhm.
execution. So, in other words, in a very simple way, do the same to the other side. When it's a torsion, easy. When it's a lateral flexion, easy. But when it's a forward flexion, it won't be the same to the back. Like I'm reaching my toes in a forward flexion. I need to reach my toes on the backward flexion. No, that's not we are talking. It is a different family of techniques, but where the spine is going to do the opposite movement, which is a
Mhm.
backward flexion or a back bend. So this term equalization is related to that point of view. You do things to one side, you're going to do the same to the other side to keep that balance practice. Okay, not
Mhm.
just about balance on one leg. I'm talking about a balancing concept of practice. Okay, I think that way it can help people understand some of the expressions because it's tricky. It's tricky
Yeah.
for all of us to really try to explain the best way we can this perspective.
No, you're right, you're right. Because sometimes we are so into our practice and into this world that we think that everyone is familiar with some concepts, and they're not. So thank
Yeah.
you for adding this information. It was a really good one. Anything else to share today, Nuno?
Yes, you're invited to join the challenge. Even though it started already, no worries. You can start at any time because there's a progression. There's a starting point, and then there's a progression. Very soon, we're gonna release a second video with this information about the counter position. Yes, the counter execution with the backward flexion. And we're going to give more tools in other days during these 2 weeks of flexibility. So even if you haven't started yet, you can start today. You can search our videos on Instagram and on YouTube. And also, if you want to learn more about what we are talking about, there are other podcasts or the videos related to this subject.
Oh,
Then, if you really like us, like really, really like us, give it a try and do 14 days in our online school with real classes, Zoom classes happening every day, 4 different languages, a huge community, a multicultural community attending these classes. So you're more than welcome to join. Just go to our website, DeRoseMeditation.com. There's the button, try it free, and that's it.
very good, very good. And we have a lot of people enrolling to do those free 14 days, and I'm sure you don't want to miss out. So try, you're gonna like it. And it's okay if you don't,
Mhm.
but give it a try. I would say that the chances that you're going to like, they are very big. And we hope to see you in our classes. And meanwhile, have a mindful week.
Have a mindful week. Bye bye.
See you next week. Bye bye.